Upper left in the red. He's playing for Team NV, or yeah, he's playing for Team NV. It's Creator. Bottom right in the blue for Team Liquid, the Terran player. It's Cure. And it's actually kind of fun. As we take a look at how things are, we see Creator, again, rocking the Team NV tag. And NV is like this biggest mystery that we have in StarCraft 2. Like, are they actually a team? Are they not a team? They were a team for a while. They had Maru on that team. And then it's like, oh, you hear news that the team owner is sick and can't support things anymore, but he was still supporting salaries for a lot of players like all of last year, despite them not being on the team necessarily. And now Team NV once again is going to be playing in the WCL. Creator and DRG, I think, and a couple other players are playing for Team NV. But who knows whether they're an actual team or whether this is just them kind of playing under that Club NV tag again. It's all very confusing. And I don't quite know how it works. I wish I did, but I have no idea how that works out. For now, though, what do we got here? Reaper Expand coming out of Cure is... yeah, the probe's going to be annoying, and ideally with that probe being as annoying as it is, and Site Delta being as short of a map as it is, theoretically you can go and you can get a Adept onto the other side and delay the natural just a little bit more and be very annoying. But whether that's what Creator would like to do is a unknown question. For now, though, natural is going to go down. I mean, certainly Cure is able to make that happen, and behind that, Factory as well. So very standard setup. What I'm looking at here, and we can actually tell it's not going to be a Stargate opener, right? Warp Gate getting started at 2:10 or so. I was going to say, what I'm looking at is what the follow-up here is going to be for Creator. Is it going to be Stargate? Well, that is obviously incorrect because there's a Warp Gate on the way. Is it going to be Twilight? Is it going to be 3-gate blink? Is it going to be 4-gate blink? Is it going to be anything else? I don't know exactly what Creator has in store for us. He is a player that we can certainly see Stargate play on, but he's not someone I think of as a big Stargate guy. He's not a classic. Is probably the big example there of someone who just loves his Stargate play against Terran. So for now, it's going to be a Robo. Certainly, this shouldn't surprise people. It is a bit of a quick Robo, right? It's Robo before Twilight, but it will still be Twilight regardless. So this is not going to be one of those 3-gate Robo pressure builds that we've been seeing Hero and Max Packs as well start to mess around with. Which is, again, it's a pretty cool idea to go for that. But again, this is just not something that we're seeing necessarily here. So the question then is, first of all, does a Warp Prism get made? As the probe will go down. Very nice there for Cure to get the damage done. Will we see a Warp Prism get made? Well, how many gateways get built on the follow-up on this? Because just because this is a quicker Robo does not really mean too much from a commitment perspective. So it's going to be 2 additional gateways for now. Blink is on the way. Robo has been done for quite a while, of course. You build a bunch of observers to get vision to see what's happening. So this looks like it's just going to be 3-gate blink. We're not saving too much money from Creator to go and drop additional gateways. Blink is on the way, but it's not going to be done for a while. And the entire point of this, getting this quick Robo, was to go and get the observer out. This chonky observer now, man. We've had 3 patches? 2 patches. 2 patches where they've gone and built themselves and just gotten thicker and thicker and thicker every single patch. So now they are much, I mean, they're much better observers. The build, the fact that they are built so much quicker is actually a really nice thing. And one of the reasons actually, it's going to get out to the scan. We just need to nerf observer speeds. It's so frustrating for Terrans when they scan an observer and it gets out before they can kill it. I mean, man, Terrans are just, oh no, that was real dicey. As there we go, we see the Widowmine shot, the new and improved Widowmine shot. S2 gets 2 probes, but Creator was very back and forth on what was happening there on pulling his probes back and forth. Man, he just almost lost so much. He didn't. He's okay, but oh man, that was almost such a problem. That being said, Creator's fine. The powerful play goes on. Warp Prism underway with this 3-gate pressure. Now, again, this is not 4-gate, as we will see the observer finally die, but the Raven spends an auto turret for it, so there is a little bit less energy on the map for the Raven, a little bit less drop harass, or a little bit less harass potential for the Raven. And look at this, 4 more gateways on the way, timing up with Blink. Yes, it's also timing up with a third base, but these gateways will be roughly done by the time that our Warp Prism is complete, going up to 8 gateways. And we don't see charge on the way just yet. There it is. Okay, so Blink, Immortals, 8 gateways on the map. Creator's going to have a ton of production moving into the mid game here to deal with whatever pressure that Cure may or may not look to go for. For now, though, Cure is not going for really one of those early pressure builds. We are 6 minutes into this game. Stim's not done. Combat Shield's not done. +1's not done. It's going to be ready at that 7:30 timing, which ironically is more of a commitment than the 6-minute timing is. As you delay your command center gets started at 7:30 instead of 5:30 or so. So your economy as the Terran player does not develop nearly at the same rate that it might otherwise do. But Creator, for now, he's got a Warp Prism on the left side. He's warping in as many Zealots. Well, not as many Zealots as possible, but warping in 4 Zealots. Presumably not going to drop here until charge is done in the next 20 or so seconds. Ideally, you're going to drop at 7:30. Ideally, you're going to wait for the Terran to get ready to move out, run across the map and try to kill you. And that's when you put 4 Zealots in their main base. And that's when you really start to get this counter damage done. And Creator is well prepared for this. He's got a Stalker on the north side. He's got a Probe on the left side just to make sure he knows where this move out happens, when it happens, how it happens. And he's aware of it now. He knows the army is on the map. He's got a Warp Prism on the left side, entire army on the right side. And I don't know if this is just for one massive run by. I don't know if he's looking for the surround necessarily based on the positioning. It's a slow surround if it is. But he's just posturing on the map right now. And he's trying. He just wants to fish Cure out in the middle of the map and sledgehammer him down. So there we go. Cure's going to move forward once again. Stalker now knows that Cure's committed to this. He knows what's happening. He's aware of where the army is. And now Creator's swinging into the main base with a bunch of charge lots. Going to warp in a whole bunch more on this 8K play. Storm's on the way, but it's not going to be ready just yet. The Warp Prism should die off. Actually, I'm not even sure what was knocking that down, but will go down. Zealous now into the main base. 13 SCVs are dead. Into the natural as well with this army. Creator was building for a base trade for the last 5 minutes or so. And man, base trading at Terran always feels really sketchy, but this army is massive. So the army in the main base is going to go down. Immortals and natural are being annoying. 23 workers dead both sides. Again, Creator's been playing for a base trade for the last 5 minutes. I guess he's going to wait for Storms to get ready. Do we have any High Templar on the high ground? Nothing hiding in the main base here. Do we have any High Templar on the map? Okay, hiding away on the bottom side, looking for the retake. This is a wild setup from a Creator here, and I don't know how much I like it. I mean, yes, he is faster to go taking a follow-up base. He is aware. He knows where all the SCVs are. He knows where the command centers are, so he's got that going for him. At the very least, I think this is probably all the SCVs on the map if he can chase them down. So there is that. Storm is done, but he's not making the orbitals burn. Kind of the unfortunate thing at the moment. This orbital is going to stay alive. The orbitals here have found their dead airspaces for the time being. What a wild and wacky game. A Storm landed, but did that even land? Was that a dead High Templar? Oh no, okay, that was just a building being destroyed. I really kind of looked like a Storm, but anyways. Now Cure, he's knocked down everything of relevancy on Creator's side of the map. You know, there are still some structures, certainly, but none of them are powered. None can be used for warp ins. Creator's very heavily supply blocked. So he's gonna have to sit here. Stalkers in the middle of the map are gonna look for whatever they can get. You get some Widow Mines, some Marines as they look to continuously blink backwards here. But Creator just needs to be looking to set up a Storm flank. If he gets a good Storm, that probably is going to be Bob's your uncle. But again, finding that one is going to be pretty dang hard. So Zealots are going to be here. He's just going to go full frontal. Storm on the Widow Mines is beautiful. But anti-armor missile for now is going to make this fight a little bit harder. It's functionally a 4 upgrade lead as Storm's on the Marauders once again. But again, you got healing here. You can slow roll this. Every High Templar that you get, and I think one did the High Templar did fall. They can't recover their energy anymore. So again, you're looking for the storms. That's what Creator's looking for. He's building more shield batteries. He's building more pylons. Eventually, maybe gonna have some production, but not for a while. And behind this Cure, he's building SCVs back up. He's got triple command center that he's muling off of. So yeah, technically the economy's not as good, but he's got more functional economy. He's got production. He's got supply cap available to him. And what's he going to do with that supply cap? What's he going to do with all that production that he has? The Stalkers blink forward. What am I? Not able to set it off. What's he going to do? Oh, man, those are nice force fields. Marauder will fall. He's building ghosts, by the way, to answer that question. He's got a Ghost Academy on the way. EMPs are just a great way to solve this army, although he doesn't have enough gas for it. Only about 136 gas. He needs 150 to make the Ghost. So that is expensive, certainly. He's not there yet. But you give him a little bit, and he is going to have... I mean, his income is going so much better here right now. As now, we're going to see more Widow Mines. The shots are going to get soaked by hallucinations. Oh, center mass shot there. Very nice from Cure. Targets things down. But now, the Widow Mines are dead. And the splash damage is dead. Nothing really deals with these Zealots. The bio does, technically, but it's not incredible. So the Zealots and the High Templar are here on the right side. 2 ghosts on the way. And the Stalkers are looking for maybe some setup on the right side. Maybe there's something that Cure had that he floated onto the other side of the map. Now, we know that is not the case. Anti-armor missile getting 4 upgrade lead. Storms are going to be solid. The force field is going to be pretty nice as well. But finally, Creator's going to find his way on top of all these supply depots, start to maybe supply block the Terran player. Unfortunately for him, again, these command centers, they're able to mule, they're able to mine. And that's been the big deal. The fact that they can produce income is such a big deal right now. And we're only looking at, I think, 2 High Templar. 1 High Templar, not enough for Storm just yet. It's going to have it in about 10 seconds. 2 Storms. 2.5 Storms on this other High Templar. So you're going to have 3. Breaking this high ground is really, really hard. Stalkers on the bottom side, or on the north side, they are getting damaged on us. Oh, man. Decent Storm. Even better EMP. So how many Storms do we have on this army right now? It looks like not a lot. Stalkers going to kite away. They're going to lose one of those Stalkers. Now the High Templar is going to get chunked down. 1 only remains, but Zealous looking for the re-engage once again. Ghosts, they don't have an EMP at the moment. Stalkers are fighting as well as they can. EMP on the right side to make sure that there is no Storm here. And Creator had the game that he wanted. He played into the base trade for minute 5. And here we are, minute 13, and Cure is just winning the base trade anyways. He had triple mules. His economy was not properly shut down well enough. He got some ghosts out. And the Stalker count, well, we do have a production now, technically. Creator can warp in more. He's got more Zealots on the way, but this army supply is just not good enough. At this point, there's too much healing. There's too much anti-shield pressure, and there are just too many upgrades. So the Stalkers are going to try to chase things down, maybe get the medevacs, but at this point, there is not enough here. Creator, he committed to this base trade, and it has not worked out. Cure takes game 1. And in the words of Monty Python, the power of the mule compels you. I don't know if that's not Monty Python. Whatever it is. The divine... You've heard of the divine right of kings? Well, let me tell you, the divine right of mules. They will exist. They will mine, and it's one of the many reasons. Also healing, the ability to keep your army up. Also mobility. That opting into a base trade against a Terran player, like playing your entire game plan around base trading against base trading the Terran, doesn't really feel all that good. Is not really something that I think is all that great. As for now, we're going to see a bit more of an aggressive option coming out of Cure in this game too. Barracks, double gas, factory behind this should get started up fairly quickly. You move into the command center behind that, but by going barracks, double gas, factory like this, you're able to go and develop your tech a little bit faster, move into Widow Mine drops, maybe Hellion drops are always nice. Just a whole host of different early game aggressive options that Cure now has available to him. So, well, that's just what that is. For now, we don't know a lot about what Creator is going to go for. Well, it's not early enough to see the, well, I was going to say it's not early enough to see the warp gate timing, but now we got that one. A warp gate on the way for Creator, so it's not going to be Stargate as the probe does fall. This also does delay the Reaper onto the other side of the map, so it's not like there's a ton to scout right now. It's not like there is a ton for Cure to really get his eyes on in terms of the follow-up. But he does know a couple things, actually. As he sees he will see a decently quick Twilight if the Reaper gets into the main base. He will maybe see the lack of a Stargate. If he even just gets his eyes on the Cyber, well, actually, no, he's not really going to know at this point. Showing up, that's not the Stargate timing. And it doesn't really matter because the Reaper is not going to find its way on. And it's not going to get any sort of information outside of the fact that, yeah, there's an Adept on the map that's going to shade its way onto the other side. And by the way, delay the command center because this is Barrick's double cast factory. Your natural already on the low ground is just delayed by default. So you do need stuff to defend it. Hell, or Adept's going to try to get on top of this STV, chase it down. Meanwhile, the Cyclone and the Marines will knock this. So it is a minor delay. It's not that big of a deal. And the game goes on. 2 additional gateways blink on the way. Key thing here is that we don't have a robo before these additional gateways. So this is 3-gate. There we go. There's the robo, but this is roboless 3-gate, which means that you get your gateways up a little bit faster. You don't have your observer quite as quickly. But paradoxically, this is more likely to be more aggression as the Cyclone continues to just feast on these Adepts and whatever else it can find. I mean, I guess I got a probe that time, but just continues to feast on whatever it can find here. Is really nice. That being said, again, paradoxically, because Creator got the robo later, this is more likely to be some level of aggression. Again, because you're front loading your economy just a little bit more. She really is trying to chase this Cyclone down, and we'll get it at the end of the day. But this has also forced out a Reaper and an Adept, or a Stalker and an Adept off to the right side, not where the main army is. So Creator, he's got nothing at home to defend against this Widow Mine drop for now. There's a Warp Prism on the way, and no third base. Creator, he pantomimed maybe sending a probe over to the third, but he's not going to go for it at the moment. We're going to see probes. They're going to look for their shots, and 2 of them will fall, but you know, that's kind of the best you can expect here. And that does make life, again, just a little bit easier for Creator. He knows that the Widow Mines have spent their shots. Doesn't get a lot of damage done. Now, he would love to get the medevac, because that means that he doesn't have to worry about this attack on the other side, certainly. But he's sitting here on 3 gates. He's got a Warp Prism on the map. He's putting pressure on here, and one of the ways that you can make a Terran player's life a little bit more difficult, a little bit more painful, is you go and you get aggressive, because then the Terran player has a little bit less APM to focus on their aggression, on their counterattack on the other side. So for now, Cure is going to have to defend against this. 1 Marine is dead. Widow Mine drop going on into the natural once again. The probes are going to get pulled. Well done. But there's a second one on the rally point. Okay, Creator's going to be fine. He's well aware what's happening. Widow Mines will die here, and Stalker's now getting ready to show up in the main base. Blink on top of the supply depot. It's damage at a start, but not a ton. And with no reinforcements available, by the way, there's a Raven on the other side of the map. So 4 probes have gone down, even if the Widow Mine drop didn't get a ton. The Raven's going to get a little bit more. Stalkers blink on top of it, but it's not going to die. And this Warp Prism pressure coming out of Creator is not really showing itself yet. But look at this. He's got a Templar Archives done. Third base on the way, of course, but that is it's 6 minutes in. It's pretty late. It's going to be Storm drops. Yeah. He's got a Templar Archives done. Storm on the way now. Stalkers are getting dropped on top and eating big tank shots. I think he wanted to drop the Adept first to soak the shot, but it didn't really happen. Even still. A couple STVs go down. You know, there is that. And Cure has no designs on a third base. Not just yet. Again, this is that 7:30 timing that we were talking about as Creator. Looking to shark around and get some Marine on it, of course, but not much more than that. And if he can get the Storm done in time, 2 Storms on this army can melt it. Again, there will be no Ghost. It's not a Marauder heavy army at this point. As another Stalker goes down. Now, because you committed to this, right? Because you committed to Storm and everything else, there is no charge on the horizon. It's just Blink, Stalker, Storm. Charges getting started now, but it won't be ready in time for this defense. It's not going to happen. So third base on the way. Stalkers playing as far forward as possible. Warp Prism back home. Raven again gets a couple more probes. Hard to really stop that as much as you would like. You can put a couple Stalkers and you can minimize the damage, but it's always going to get like 1 or 2 probes, more or less. But Storm is done now. Charge is not. Again, that's a ways off, but Storm is done. There really is no anti-Warp Prism tech. There's no anti-High Templar tech either. So Creator's getting ready for the flank here. Stalkers on the backside are just going to poke away as well as they can. And 2 High Templars in this War Prism. If they can get a shot center mass, they're going to be very happy. Creator, though, he's going to try to buy as much time as possible. He wants to go and get this charge done. And again, it's a ways off. It's like 20 seconds off. But if he can buy the time that he needs, that's going to be a big deal. For now, Storm is beautiful on the right side. Doesn't kill anything, but really takes a lot of energy out of these medevacts. Gets a ton of damage done. And Cure continues the slow push. Again, though, the longer this lasts for Creator, the better it is. Because, again, that's charge getting closer to completion. That's a Colossus getting closer to completion. So for now, Cure's gonna dive in a little bit, get on top of where the shield batteries are, soak some damage right there, but charge is done. This is gonna be the opportunity as this, oh, that Immortal has to be very careful. But we're gonna need like maybe 1 or 2 more rounds of Warpins. It is 86 army supply to 53, so even as we talk about another round of Warpin or 2, the army supply differential is a big thing. Cure continues to move forward, continues to get damage done to this Nexus, but there's the break because Zealous coming in from the bottom side here. Observer on top of everything. The Storm is okay. Storm is, the second one is much better. Stalkers are going to blink on top of things. Third one, even better still. Cure is going to be forced back here. Now, the Stalkers can't blink forward anymore. They don't quite have the timing until right now, so they're not going to knock the Medivacs down. But they get a lot of this oh, he dodges the Widowmine with the, oh, I love that. He dodges the Widowmine with the Warp Prism. That's fantastic. And now Creator, he's down in army supply, certainly, but on the front foot here, moving forward. He's got his 3 bases up for longer. He's got his Terran opponent pinned back a little bit. And you want to know how scared Cure is at the moment? He's getting forward missile turrets to deny the Warp Prism pickups. Right? He's got this forward missile turret because ADTs could be a thing. But B, this is as much as anything, this is anti-Warp Prism play. So the Warp Prism can't be used to micro as much as Creator would like. And the lone bright spot in this game for Cure is the Raven's actually been very effective. The Raven has gotten a lot of damage done. And what has it got? Like 6 or 7 kills? Yeah, it's got 7 probe kills. That's actually the thing that's keeping this economy somewhat in check, even with Creator mining faster, for like getting on that 3rd base a decent bit faster, you know. So Zealous on the left side. Cure again getting ready to move through the middle of the map as he will knock that Stalker down. We got 1 Colossus in this army, 4 High Templar on the Warp Prism, looking for those Storms. As Ghosts are on the in part of the army now, of course, and that is going to be some EMPs landing full center mass. That's always going to be pretty nice. But now Zealots on the run by into the 3rd base because he knows Cure's not there, and the Stalker warping well. Raven's not going to get nearly as much this time, and Zealots don't get a ton either. There is this interesting pylon. That can be a Warpin. And that can be a flank coming out of Creator if he wants to make that happen. But for now, running down the map, 1 Colossus Stalkers. Well, Shield Battery Overcharge is well positioned, so even with EMP is on top of things, the shield, the army's going to have its shield fairly nicely. But Extended Thermal Lance is not done. The army is okay, but not incredible, and Creator's just going to hold on to the 4th base. He loses the pylon, so he's going to lose that Warpin potential, but it's fine. Now, that was as much vision as really anything else. So Creator solidly on 4 bases now. Cure's on 3. He's got that armory done soon. He's got 1-1. Creator's on the way to 2-1. And Creator's got this minor lead. The economy is a little bit better for him. He's held on against the first round of the Terran aggression. He's got that base faster, but Cure's got his 4th base on the way. It's floating over now. He's going to redevelop that economy. He's got 2-2. He's adding in Vikings now to deal with the Colossus. This Raven continues to find damage. It's up to like 9 kills now. Actually, even more than that. And this attack through the center is just not something that Creator was prepared for. Storm is defensive well enough. I mean, it buys time, and that is pretty much all that's needed. But this drop into the main base, Creator is not prepared for this whatsoever. Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of Storm drops defensively in the main base. Colossus are going to show up. And look, defensively, the Storms are really, really good. They're going to knock everything down here. Even the Archon stays alive, and 2 of the 3 Medivacs die very quickly. Now, the army split on the left side is decent. Do we have any Storms part of this? We don't, but Stalkers are going to knock down the Vikings pretty quickly here. Even still, there's no shield battery, so that means the Colossus will die eventually, but the Firebase of the Immortals is doing very well, very nicely there with that +2 and with all the Immortals, or with all the Marauders on the map. So Creator defends both positions very nicely. We got this 1 Raven, we got this 10 supply medevac, but the ghosts are, everything is very heavily damaged. And now the Stalkers, they try to chase this down. This is not a good fight for the Stalkers. Not at the moment, not before the army joins the fray. Immortals are starting to fall. But this big F2, I mean, we can see this in F2. Look at all the observers showing up. Eventually, they're going to fight through. Ghosts are going to go down. We're going to see the Widowmine fall. And with the additional disruptors, with the additional Colossus as well, there's not a lot of anti-air here. This is the timing that Creator's been looking for. He wants to run right through everything and knock that down so the Widowmines fall. So many Stalkers on the map. I don't see a Warp Prism as part of this army just yet. And this drop in the main base is going to try to do something. But hey, look, Stalkers are going to warp in. They're going to clean that up. And Creator bending, 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 bending. Like the rubber band, eventually he's going to snap back into your face. And this is a pretty painful one. Yes, 11 probes have gone down. But more importantly, I don't know that there's a solution to everything. As, by the way, a Stargate was made at some point. Creator made a Void Ray. Apparently. I think it's dead now, but he's building Void Rays to defend against the Raven, or the Raven, I guess. And he makes his push work too. So Creator ties us up. We go to game 3. And Ghost River is an interesting map, of course. When we talk about this, it's somewhat reminiscent of, oh, what was it? It was a map that Star Dancer, something like that. Because again, it's, you know, horizontal across. You kind of have this high ground position that you got to mine through. A little different. It's like really what this feels like. Ghost River feels like a mismatch of Stargazers. I think that was the map name. And what was the map that had double and it feels like a kind of a mixture of Stargazers and Equilibrium in terms of the base layout. Obviously this is there's no base here, but it is a low ground position. I don't have any good reason. Maybe it's just like, we don't have enough horizontal across maps, so every map is the same. Something like that. I don't know. But for now, we got our Warp Prism on the way. So again, no Stargate coming out of Creator. He is doing normal Stargate things. That we gotta fix the settings, I think, because I crashed and had to go back and it reset itself. Yeah. I don't know why Starcraft decided to save the wrong settings that I haven't been using as this client's been live, but so it goes. Anyways, Robo, game number 3, much quicker than game 2. So again, this is Robo first, which means that it's more likely to be kind of a more macro opening. We talked about this in game number 2, where you're doing this to get your observer out. You're doing this to be safe early on. But what this does not do is that this does not really lead into aggression as much. Yes, there are 2 additional gateways on the way, building a wall at the natural. But I don't expect us to get really any sort of quick warp gate because, oh, okay. Well, I say warp gate, I mean Warp Prism. And I was going to say, I don't expect to see too much of that because, again, your Twilight's delayed, so you're not going to have that power. But this is just going to be this straight up the Max Packs build, the hero build that they've been messing around with recently. And what this means is you get a Warp Prism, it's 3 gate pressure, and then you develop your tech afterwards. And it's kind of this weird middle ground of play, and it's pretty cool. I've seen it win games, I've seen it lose games. But ideally, the goal here, what you're going for, is you're just trying to catch the Terran at a weird timing when they're maybe on the map, when they're doing something. And by the way, this is a 4 Widowmine drop. This is very committed from Cure. This is a much more than you would normally do, which also means that there's not going to be a lot defensively. It's going to be 4 Marines. So for now, of course, the Hellions are going to try to dive on top of this probe, knock this thing down. Where's our Warp Prism? It's on the middle of the map here, phasing in. We got Widowmine drop into the natural. 3 Widowmines are going to drop in the natural, so that's 3 dead probes. And into the main base, looking for a little bit more. Hellion somehow gets into the main base as well, but it is luckily a free surround on top of the Hellion as the Widowmine drop goes off. So 2 more, 6 probes for 4 Widowmines. The problem is that none of these Widowmines went down. They're going to have a second round of drops. And that is a problem. But for now, 3 Stalkers and a Zealot getting ready to get dropped into the main base. And what do we have defensively? The tank is out now. That perfect timing that Creator was looking for before the tanks are out, that's not really going to exist, but he can knock some of these Marines down, certainly micro as well as he can. Now, Widowmine drop into the natural on top of this probe line. Creator, he's going to pull away in time. Yes, he will. And now we got Stalker, Adepts in the natural, getting a little bit more damage where they can find it, of course. Well, 2 Adepts and a Stalker, they do one-shot probes. It's a bunch of probes going down to the other side. Widowmine's got 8. But even still, SCVs are going down here as well. Stalker's dying, though, does make life rather complicated. 2 tanks out on the map as well. It's just not really easy to defend, but it's 15 dead SCVs. Creator has done damage, but the Widowmine drop, man, it's still here. It still has this opportunity. One probe is gonna pull. Probes are gonna get pulled, and it's a couple more. Now this is gonna get one more shot. There we go, and we'll get finally killed. So what are we looking at? This is a total of 18 dead probes, 15 dead SCVs. Creator is, yeah, he's in a rough spot. Equal on worker. Despite the damage, he still has technically more damage available because actually no, the medevac does have another Widowmine in tow. It can drop it on top. It's gonna force a full recall. Okay, Widowmine is gonna die. Just, oh man, imagine if that went off and caught the War Prism. That would be the game. 100%. That'd be the end of the game. But for now, Cure, round 2. More pressure getting ready. Stim's not done just yet, but he understands that he is really pulled a ringer on Creator at this point. So he's going to run across the map once again. Remember, there's no Twilight. There's no charge. There's no blink. It's all about this Colossus play, this Colossus tech that's going to get started. And we have Interference Matrix. We have Observers going to go down. So any high ground, low ground vision advantage is not really going to be there. And I'm not going to say Creator's dead necessarily. He can always make a crazy hold, but this is not an easy situation. Now, the Raven did spend its energy. It's not going to have Interference Matrix for quite a bit, so there is that. It did drop an auto turn. That did buy some time. And actually, we're going to see the Viking go down as well, so really no pressure. I guess 3 tanks is certainly, well, 3 tanks is certainly a lot of pressure on the Colossus, but for now, we're going to see probes get dropped on top of this army. Look at just Bulldog on top, soak the tank shots. And it's actually going to work out pretty nicely. I think the tanks are not going to get the Colossus down in time. Certainly, though, it's going to get picked up for the time being. Army's going to continue to roll forward. The tank is now dead. It's slow. The Colossus is low. That is a beautiful defensive play from Creator. He does lose some more probes. In fact, he loses a decent amount more probes. The drops in the main base as well. He does lose a little bit more, but again, he stays alive. The tanks are down. The pressure of that push is gone. And not only does he stay alive, I mean, he loses some probes, but this Colossus is so low, but he keeps it alive. He buys that one as well. As we're going to find this War Prism, second War Prism on the map. And I kind of expected Cure to hot drop on top of it, but no, Creator is on top of things. So the War Prism micros there is, looks like the War Prism right side or the medevac on the right side does get knocked down. It's actually just all going to die. And this drop at the front tries to find a different angle because he knows he's been scouted, but that's also not going to get much anyways. So the game goes on. Creator again on the back foot a little bit. He's lost a couple workers, but his third base is much faster. His economy is developing once again. So he does have this third base up. He is mining from that. We should see a fourth base somewhat soon, probably. But again, he is lacking that Twilight. He's lacking any sort of mobility on the map. And the mobility he has, it's the 2 Warp Prisms, right? He's got the one for his army to warp in and defensively micro, and it's this other Warp Prism that wants to run onto the other side of the map. That's the only mobility he has. That's the only drop defense, really. The only, really, ability to move on the map. So this quad drop into the natural. Zealots are here. Oh, no. Probes are stuck into a corner. They're going to be able to mineral walk out eventually, but warping in Zealots like this, again, there's nothing. Oh, nice dodge there on the Interference Matrix. So at least this is going to be that. Warp Prism will fall down, so only one of them on the map at the moment. But for now, this is a decent hold. The drop goes into the main base, though. And where's our Warp Prism on the other side? I think it's dead, too. I do not see it. So no counterattack pressure. Where's the War Prism? I guess it was recalled back home. So War Prism's recalled back home. Widowmine gets another couple of probes, but this run by into the third base. Creator he's on his heels at the moment. He's got this army showing up at the natural. Colossus almost gets jumped upon. This drop is just bouncing between the main and the natural. Meanwhile, damage being done on the third base. Fourth base, we talked about how it should be on the way pretty quickly. Yeah, it's just going to get canceled. And this third base floating over for Cure as well. So he's going to keep his opponent 3 bases versus 3 bases. All the defense is in the natural now. So the 4 medevacs are going to own load in the main base. And once again, they can dive on top of this Warp Prism. Colossus barely stays alive. You got to micro both of them, Creator, and he's just not going. He's going to lose one of them. Yeah, a lot of the bio is dead, but it's 17 dead probes. It's a dead Colossus. Can't quite shoot down the Warp Prism, but that's fine. He knocked a Colossus down. And the next round of the push commences. Cure now. He's got Ghosts in the mix. He's got Vikings in the mix. Here he is well prepared. Oh, that what am I going to go off? A nice bait from Cure. Or from a Creator. There we go. Problem is, like, we look at everything that's here as this drop's going to show up in the main base once again. It's 2 Colossus. It's 8 Stalkers. There's no Blink. There's no charge. Blink's on the way, certainly. But, yeah, Cure wins. He's won this game for a while, and Creator, he's going to fall down. Cure moves on to the round of 4.